All right, guys, what's up? It's Mr. Cruz here. I'm going to show you guys how to do some of the stuff that we've been going over. This is kind of going to be like a big review because we've learned for the past several days, we've learned slope from an equation, slope from a just points on a graph, and we've learned slope from formula. Wait, I said formula already. And slope from a table. We're going to throw all of these things together just so you guys can understand when you see these things, what you're supposed to do. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we have a table. This one was the easy one. This is the one that we kind of like started out with. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find, I'm going to show you here, this little graphic here. It says y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Now, in some of your classes, I went over this. In some of your classes, I didn't, just because like it wasn't necessarily much easier. You guys kind of got the hang of it, of saying that like, all right, what's the difference between these two? What is happening between 1 and 2 for x? Because remember, we had the formula that we were doing was x over y, and we're supposed to put the change in x. So what's the change from 1 to 2 for x? What was the change? The change right there is 1. And the same thing for y. What's the change in y from 3 to 6? What am I doing to 3 in order to get 6? Well, I'm adding 3. So the top one would be 3. All right. So this right here is what my slope would be. This is really what you're doing. You're pretty much subtracting the second number from the first number, but we don't do this. I mean, because if you're looking at it, you can kind of tell. You can just look at 1 and 2. Okay, well, I added 1. 3 to 6. Well, I added 3. So in this case, my slope would be just 3. It's really a fraction. It's really 3 over 1. But if you were to type in 3 as just your answer, you would have gotten it right. All right. We just said this right here, that the rate of change ends up being 3. Remember, this is the first example on your paper on the top left corner. All right. So what would the equation on this one look like? Well, the equation here would look like 3x, because our rate of change ends up being 3. So that's what we would put right there. Y equals 3x is what I would write down. All right. All right, let's do it again with this one so we can just make sure we got this. What is my change in x? X is going from 1 to 2. So once again, my change in x is 1. And my change in y is going from 2 to 4. So my change there would be 2. So my formula down here would be y equals 2x. That's what I would write down. All right. Seems easy or simple enough? God, oh man, I'm getting sick, yo. All right. All right, let's do another one. This time we're going to be looking at ordered pairs. All right. So we got our equation. We know what the equation looks like. What would our ordered pairs look like? Well, I'm just taking the x and the y and I'm putting them together like this, like we would normally see when we're plotting points. So my first set of ordered pairs would be 1 and 2. My next set of ordered pairs would look like this right here, 2 and 4. And then my last set of ordered pairs would be right here, which would make it 3 and 6. All right. So we have our equation. We have our ordered pairs. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to plot these points on a graph. All right. So I'm going to do, this will probably be the easiest. If you have the ordered pairs, just plot the points and then connect the dots. So I'm going to do it this way here. So my first set of ordered pairs is 1 and 2. So I'm going to start at the middle, go to the right 1 and up 2. Next one is 2 and 4. So I'm going to go to start at the middle, go to the right. Go to the right 2 and then up 4. And last one is 3, 6. So I'm going to start in the middle, go to the right 3 and go up 6. What you will see and what you'll notice is that the slope follows our equation. Our equation follows what we see here. If I start at the middle and my slope is 2, and remember from the video yesterday that even though it says 2, it's really a fraction. It's really 2 over 1. If I start in the middle and I go, this is my rise, and then this is my run. So if I go up 2 over 1, I land on the dot. I go up 2 over 1, I land on the dot. Up 2 over 1, I land on the dot. So connect the dots, and there you go. All right, looking at this one, what is the slope here? This is your next example. It's the top right corner on your paper. Our slope is this number right here, right? Whatever number is next to the letter x. And since it's 3, it's really a fraction. That's really 3 over 1. But they just put 3 there, which is fine. All right, this is the hard part. This is stuff we haven't kind of gone over yet. So this is a new thing that we're going to be learning. Is from our equation, we're going to fill out our table. So I'm going to go over to Desmos, and I'm going to split screen this here for a second. All right, it might be a little hard to see here. Let me zoom in. All right, so our equation is y equals 3x. So I'm going to put that into Desmos. I'm not going to put the y part. I'm just going to put 3x. I'm going to drop down to the next part, and I'm going to put x equals. All right, so I have to fill out this table. And the way I'm going to fill out this table is I'm going to use my formula. Pretty much what this is telling me is we're trying to find out what is y going to equal whenever x equals a number. I'm going to start out with 0. All right, so I'm going to go over to my calculator, and I'm going to put 0 in for x. And then I see up here, I end up with 0. So that means whenever x equals 0 in my formula, y also equals 0. All right, now it's going to change, right? Because anytime you multiply something with 0, you always get the same number, or you always end up with 0. So now I'm going to put 1. I'm saying I'm start out with 0, 1, 2, 3, if I have the option, because those are just going to be easy. So now I'm going to put 1. So whenever I put 1 in for x, what do I get for y as my answer? Well, I get 3. So I'm going to put 3 over here. And then last one, let's do 2. Whenever I put 2 in for x, for y, I get 6. It says it up here. 6. All right. Well, all that's happening here, we see that y equals 3x. Well, what's happening with the 3 and the x? Whenever we see a number and a variable next to each other, it means that they are being multiplied. So pretty much when I put in a coordinate or a value for x, I'm multiplying it by 3, and then whatever I get as my answer is what my y value ends up being. So with this, you're not going to be doing this stuff a whole lot, but this is how I would fill out this table if I were to, if that's probably part of a problem that I had to solve. So using your calculator, you're going to be able to do it. I mean, it might say y equals 4x. So then I would put 4x over here and then figure it out. Might say y equals 1 over 2x. All right, well then I'm still just changing the value for x in order to fill out the table. All right, let's go back to where we were. Here. All right. All right, so we filled out our table accordingly. All right. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to plot these coordinates here. Yeah, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to plot these coordinates. Let me grab this right quick and put this here. So at least we don't have to do all that stuff again. And let's go back. Oh, wait, nope, wrong one. Okay, so now we're going to plot our coordinates and we're going to make a line. So I'm going to just use, if I have my coordinates, my table here, I'm going to just use my ordered pairs, right? So my first set of ordered pairs would be 0, 0. So that's at the origin, just plot that one. My next set of ordered pairs would be 1, 3. So that means I go to the right 1 and then up 3. And then my last set of ordered pairs are 2, 6. So I start at the middle, go to the right 2, and go up 6. I'm starting in the middle when I'm plotting this because that's how like whenever you're plotting ordered pairs, that's why you're doing it. I'm not starting it because, oh, I see that Mr. Cruz is starting from the first point that he put down. It just happens to be at the origin with 0, 0. All right, now I'm going to connect the dots. Wow, totally missed that one right there. And then I would be done. So that was example number 2, looks like, our third example. So we're going to go to our last one. All right, wait, we did this here. What is the slope? Well, the slope on this one is 3. And again, this was like all 3 different forms. They all look different. I think it was right there. These are 3 different forms, three different forms that you're going to see these in, and it looks different, but they are all pretty much saying the same thing. This, our table when we filled it out, and this are all representing the same thing. It's just in 3 different formats. All right. it says example number 1, but we've been doing this by now. All right, let's go back to our Desmos calculator and fill our table out and plot our graph. So my equation is y equals 4x. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put 4x. And then for x, I'm going to just do the same. I'm going to use the same numbers that I used last time, 0. So when x equals 0, y also equals 0. When x equals 1, y ends up equaling 4. And then I'm going to do 2. When x equals 2, y ends up equaling 8. And remember, you guys did this because we went through, when we looked at the tables a couple weeks ago, no, like last week, we were talking to her, like we were asking, hey, what pattern do you see? What do you notice is happening? Like, oh, whenever whatever the number is for x, you're multiplying by 2, multiplying by 3. We had figured this out. We'd done this before, but now it just looks different. And now we kind of have a name for it. All right, let's go over to our graph, and then let's plot our graph. Now that we've got our ordered pairs, so the first point is 0, 0. Our next point is, actually, look, I see that my first point is 0, 0. I'm going to do the rest of it by just using my slope. So remember that my slope is this number right here, 4, but it's really over 1 because I have my rise and then I have my run, right? We've been talking about using those words, rise over run. So I'm going to go up 4 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. All right, when I'm plotting it from the slope, from the formula, I can go from one point to the other, one point to the other. But we always start at the origin. There we go. Whew, man, this stuff is crazy. All right, we've got 2 more examples we're going to go over that are on the back of your paper. All right, this time we have our table. We're just trying to find out what our formula and plot our points. So first up, what is the change in x? So my x goes from 1 to 2. So my change there is 1. Y goes from 5 to 10. My change there is a positive 5. You're adding 5. So my rate of change is 5 over 1, or I can just put 5. So that means my formula down here, it's going to be y equals 5x. Let's plot this on our graph. I'm going to start at the origin. And then I'm going to use my slope formula again. I'm going to use y equals 5x. I know that 5 is the slope and that my rise and run is 5 over 1. So I'm going to go up 5 and then to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 1. And what you'll notice is that I used the exact same points. I ended up using 1, 5. Or like my ordered pairs, the points that I plotted end up being 1, 5, and they also end up being 2, 10. We're not going to do 3, 15 because we just don't have enough room on our graph, right? This is 1, 5 because I went over 1, up 5. That's what these coordinates right here would end up being. So then I connect the dots, and then I'm done. All right, let's do one more, last one here. So we have our 2 points, and we're trying to find our rate of change or our slope. So you remember it's rise over run. So that means how many, if this is like the whole Uber Eats driver thing that we were talking about. So how many spaces do I got to drive in order to get to this spot over here? I got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I had to go up 8, and then I have to go to the right 1, 2. So it's 8 over 2. You can simplify that. Or you could put this in your calculator that because all this means is 8 divided by 2. And what is 8 divided by 2? Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my rate of change is really 4. And my formula would be y equals 4x. All right, I think that's all you guys got for today. Good luck on your assignments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.